Oregon and Notre Dame score big-time commitments.
Locked On presents The Portal, the daily podcast covering college football recruiting and everything NIL. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome back into the Portal Podcast, where you get your daily recruiting, NIL, and transfer portal scoop. I'm your host, Brian Smith, longtime college football writer and recruiting analyst. Thank you for making the Portal Podcast your first listen each and every day. Today's show is brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. New FanDuel customers can get $200 in bonus bets when you win your first $5 bet. The Oregon Ducks, they get on the board with a 5-star. It's been a little quiet out in Eugene, but I knew that wasn't going to last all that long. 6'5", 200 pounds, Jett Washington out of Las Vegas is headed to Eugene to play for Dan Lanning and his squad. This is one of the more rare DBs you're going to see because of his length, and that's going to be a theme on today's show. But 6'5", like you think 6'5" in football, it's an offensive lineman, a defensive lineman, maybe a really unique outside linebacker that's more of a pass rusher, but a safety? Jett Washington is that guy. 5-star players have unique qualities, and Jett Washington fits the bill to a T. The Ducks lost quite a few players out of their secondary last year, and this is the, not rebuild, but the reload, because they certainly have more players in the pipeline. But he's also a young man that I'm going to go ahead and predict will at some point start a game as a freshman for Oregon. Yes, before Spencer McLaughlin asked me, I think that he will start a game at least, if not end up being a full-time starter for the Ducks in 2026. We'll see. There's always the transfer portal, etc., so this could change, but he is a rare player, and those kinds of traits with the ability of that staff to coach defense, I think Jett Washington will be very good for Oregon. Also, speaking of long DBs, Khary Adams has committed to the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Out of Loyola Blakefield, just outside of Baltimore, the 6'2", 180-pounder is one of the most athletic, swift, change of directions, tremendous. Anything you want to say about him athletically with his feet, that's all true. He's also got a wingspan around 80, and he's 6'2". So he's one of those really rare guys with the arms that are just so much longer than what his frame is. It's an advantage. I would imagine that he's a young man that's going to play pretty early at Notre Dame, but they are very talented in their secondary. But Mike Mickens keeps turning them out. Leonard Moore was freshman All-American. Some guys coming in this year that are good, but they just keep restocking. This is how you end up being a deep run into the playoffs year in and year out. Notre Dame's defense is pretty incredible when it comes to the secondary now, but it may be even better in the future. This is not just their only big corner either. Aiden Pouncey's also committed to the Irish, another guy that might even be taller. So Notre Dame's secondary is taking another elite player, but don't be surprised if they add somebody else later today too. And talking about commitments, Luke Hutchinson, 6'3", 235 out of Nashville, Tennessee, Montgomery Bell Academy. He will be headed to Mississippi State. Omari Bledsoe, 6'4", 180, another really big DB, listed as a corner by 24/7, going to Arkansas State out of Smyrna, Tennessee. That's unique. If that size holds up and he can play corner, great job of scouting by Arkansas State. Michael McClinton out of Ocoee High School on the west side of Orlando. He's going to Appalachian State, linebacker, 6 foot, 225 pounds. Now, when we come back, I want to talk a little bit about the recruiting rankings. Where's your school at? What have they got going on? And I'm going to use some schools as barometers, some talking points about why the recruiting rankings are where they are right now, but why there's going to be major, and I do mean major shifts within the next 2 weeks. That's next here on the Portal Podcast. The NBA Finals are getting down to the very nitty-gritty. Game 7 coming up, and every night's been delivering. It's been a lot of fun to watch. All the can't-miss moments, the momentum shifts, everything's been a lot of fun. Whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's never a better time to get on the action either, and that's with FanDuel. The MLB season is also coming up to the point where everything's getting close to the trade deadline. We got the All-Star game and everything else that's been going on. This is a great time to get in with FanDuel as well. FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off and live, player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays. Fans have many more ways than ever to play smart and to win big. If you don't know exactly what you want to do in terms of a game, maybe a parlay after you look into who's hot maybe somebody that's been hitting over 400 the last couple of weeks in MLB. There's a lot of different ways to get it done with FanDuel. If you're new, it's the perfect time to sign up. FanDuel.com is your place for your first $5 bet. If it wins, $200 in bonus bets are yours. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. Let's talk a little bit about the recruiting rankings. Where's your school at? How should you really look at it? And how are they going to end up in the next couple of weeks? Because it's going to be commitment Armageddon, really, the next 15 to 20 days. It's just everybody's committing pretty much at once. By about July 10th, which is about 20 days from now, we're going to see a plethora of commitments. It's kind of already started, and we're in the midst of it. But early next week, when the dead period starts, that's when everything really goes crazy. The NCAA changed it again. The visit schedule ends this weekend. So Sunday is the end of the open period to visit. Coaches going to see players and players going to see all that's over. The end of June, all the way through July, is a dead period. There is no in-person contact. It's just a bunch of commitments. With that being stated, there are programs that are at a certain point where they're going to see their school's recruiting ranking go up, go down, etc. So how should you evaluate it? I've got two questions for you about whatever school it is you root for. Are you meeting your needs? What was your team good at last year? What were they bad at? Are they meeting their needs? So if you've got 15 commitments, but your biggest need is defensive tackle and you're sitting there with a goose egg, it's one thing to be ranked high, but is it applicable to winning games? Think about that. Number two, impact players. How many guys in your class, and do your own evaluation, go out, watch huddle, do whatever it is, go look at the rankings, pick out a few guys, type in their name on Google and just add the word huddle, HUDL. If you haven't done it before, you can watch just about anybody's film, play around with it, find the most recent film, see what you think. Are they getting any playmakers, guys that can come in and truly play early, especially at running back, wide receiver, DB, anything outside the box? The closer you get to the line of scrimmage, and especially if you're in the box, the closer you are to the center in the football, it's probably a little harder. It's more about grown man strength, playing D tackle. But are you getting any guys that are going to come in and at least contribute right away? Those are those two main things to look at. Now, to help me kind of just go through this, I want to use Texas A&M as a barometer here. Their class is unique. I really like A&M's class in general, but I have good news and bad news about it. But they're still on the board for several guys at a spot I'm about to make a question. But speed, like they've got playmakers, impact guys, 100%. They just got Brandon Arrington. They also just got KJ Edwards, two of the fastest guys in the country. Really just could play any spots, but KJ Edwards probably going to play running back. You could play him in the secondary. He'd be really good. Brandon Arrington, receiver or corner, wouldn't make any difference. He is sub 10.3 in the 100 meters. I mean, that's shot out of a cannon. You could probably play him at running back as well. But whatever positions you play him at, they're impact guys. That's the good news. And they've got other players too, like Victor Singleton. They've got some really good players all over the place. Aaron Gregory is one of the best receivers I've seen. But my question is, where are the offensive linemen for the Aggies? And again, I'm just using them as an example. Samuel Roseboro is an offensive lineman I think can play tackle or guard. 24/7 was an interior player, but wherever he plays, he's a good player. He's going to end up starting, but they need numbers. They need a couple more guys that are bona fide big-time players to up their offensive game. That's my biggest question. But they got plenty of time. Again, the next 20 days, we're going to find out. And right now, A&M's fighting for a chance to have the number one class in the nation. But is it applicable? It will be if they get the linemen, because the skill spots, they're killing it. They've already got a really good quarterback. They've already got really good receivers, DBs, everything else they could pretty much want. And now they're also trying to fight for some of the top kids in the state of Texas, going against LSU, going against Oklahoma, and of course, the hated Longhorns. This is just a barometer. I'm just using them as an example, but they're close to getting to the point where they've got a balanced class and meeting needs. And of course, they're getting guys that are impact players too. So I ask you again, whatever school you use as your favorite to go watch on Saturday afternoons or going to games, are they recruiting like that? Or are they getting a balanced class with the needs taken care of in those impact guys? As far as the recruiting rankings, I'm just going to use 24/7 right now. This is just their rankings and take it for what it's worth. This is the top 10 as of right now. Number 1 is USC. They've got 30 commitments. That's insane. 19 are 4-star, 10 are 3-star. A&M has 18 commitments, 15 are 4-star, only 2 are 3-stars, and they have a 5-star. By the way, SC's got 1 5-star as well. Ohio State comes in at number 3. They got 16 commitments, 2 of which are 5-star, 12 are in the 4-star variety, and only 2 are 3-star. Notre Dame at 4, 18 commitments, 1 5-star, 11 are the 4-star variety at 5 that are 3-star. Notre Dame 17, that might actually not be up to date because Khary Adams just committed. I think that's 18 now. Number 16 is for 4-stars, and they got 1 kid that's a 3-star. Like, that's your top 5. None of those schools are real shocking. But I also want to give a shout out to another school that's doing really well, just a little further down the list. How about Illinois? Illinois, they're number 8 right now, and UCLA is number 9. Like Clemson 6, Penn State 7. Those are programs you expect to recruit at an elite level, and they are. But how about Illinois? And they've, by the way, Illinois is starting to get linemen. This is where Brett Bielema's squad can take a step forward, and it's a great example. If you're not recruiting O-line, D-line well, you're not going to really take a step up and consistently compete at the top of your league if you're in the Power 4. It's not going to happen. Miami's at 10. This is a school I've got a close eye on. They're in on a bunch of guys like Derek Cooper. They're Calvin Russell, the receiver. Everybody wants to know about him. I don't know where he's going yet. Heard LSU's up there, but we'll see. But speaking of LSU, they're number 11 in the rankings for 24/7. But the teams out of this group that are doing the best, that truly are making the most noise, are the ones that are meeting needs and getting impact players. Is your school doing that right now? Let's have this conversation again around July 10th. Because if we're at that point, and there's some schools, again, like A&M on paper, like the numbers, the way that 24/7 does it, has a great class, but they got 1 O-lineman. How many did they get? Trenches matter. Thank you once again for making the Portal Podcast your first listen each and every day. Truly appreciate you stopping in and get all your latest recruiting, NIL, and transfer portal scoop. Please hit that like button and that subscribe. We will see you again soon on the Portal Podcast.